Welcome again, folks. You're gonna have to excuse the fan noise over there because it's cooking right now in Florida, and those of you who live down here, you will understand what I'm talking about. But just picked up this Ready Arc from a friend of mine, and we've got a couple things that are weird with it, but I'm hoping to get it going and maybe clean it up a little bit and possibly flip it. So if you can tell, I don't know that you can in this video, but this thing got hit from the back end. You can tell from, we got a bulge here in the back, and the lower lifting, where the lifting point mounts to, the whole thing is kind of pushed forward. So something hit it from the back, or who knows what. But also we've got a couple things going on. One thing is we're missing any kind of rubber mount here, which there's supposed to be a rubber mount in this thing. So I've got some here that we're going to make some mounts for the front of it. The rears look okay, it's starting to dry rot, but I think this is an older machine. It's a Kubota 1903, so I think it's a little bit older. But so the other weird thing is I went and looked at it, and he wasn't asking too much for it, but I don't know if this got bent or I don't know what happened to it, but we've got some marking there on the stick, so that might mean bad news, or it could have got bent and then they put it in there and then it's just from you know, using it basically. So we're gonna dive into it a little bit. I'm gonna get this thing picked up in the front, we're gonna get some new mounts in it, and then the tank is there's quite a bit of sediment in the bottom, so we're gonna probably pull the tank out and then just run a secondary, just a little temporary fuel tank, and we're just gonna see if we can get this thing fired up or not. And that's the goal right now. We'll see what we get to in this video, but my goal is just to get it going, see if it welds. Got a roadblock here, and get it going, see if it welds, and then maybe clean it up a little bit and then send it on down the road. So I'm gonna get to work here. I think this thing is already unbolted, so we're just gonna lift the hood off, pull the tank, and we're gonna see. He says it spins 360. We're gonna check that, make sure there's nothing weird going on. I don't know why the dipstick would be bent. Again, they may have done that, and then just the crank may have done something to it, but we're gonna dive into it a little bit, see if we can't get this thing fired up. All right, we should be ready to go with the fire, but the battery I put in there is pretty much shot, so we'll go look for another battery, see what we can come up with. I didn't have another filter, so that's why we're reusing this one for now. I know I have one, I just don't know where it's at right now. The guy said he changed the oil, the guy before the guy I got it from, but didn't change the filter, but that doesn't make any sense. But I'm gonna see if it will start with the oil that's in it. The oil looks clean, and then if we get it running or whatever, we'll change the filter, change the oil. But let me go see if I can hunt the battery down so we can see if this thing works. All right, it wants to go, but we don't have enough juice to our battery just yet. But I got fuel to all the injectors, so as soon as we get some juice, it should fire off. It's acting like it wants to. We're getting quite a bit of smoke out the exhaust, so it should fire up here in just a second. Well, we got her to fire, but we've got all the back three, well, I should say the front three are hot, but this one's not firing. So I think I'll pull the valve cover and just see if we're getting, make sure we got valves moving, and then I guess we can go from there. All right, so I just took this injector apart here, and nothing seems wrong with it. Doesn't mean it could have been stuck slightly, but I can get all new injectors for like 60 bucks, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Also, I was gonna put it back together and, you know, try it basically, but I tweaked the end off over here. This side didn't want to come free from that injector, and then before I realized I could hold the bottom with the crescent wrench through there, I messed up. So got to order one of these, and I'm gonna go ahead and order some injectors, some fuel line, some odds and ends. So we're gonna wait till we get parts, but hopefully, I just did check to make sure that the piston moves, and it does. So one stuck injector, which is more likely, or we could have a bad hole or no compression in that hole, but I don't think so. There wasn't any, when it was running, I don't think there was a ton of smoke coming out of the overdraft tube, or actually through the valves, not valves, but crankcase. So we're gonna wait on some parts, and then we'll pick back up here when we get that put together. So I got all my parts in, got the injectors in, the new return line sitting up top there, and let's see here. All right, so we're running pretty good. It's still somewhat smoky, and that may just need to run longer. It's been sitting for who knows how long, so we may need to just get this thing fired up and let it run for a while. While I was waiting on parts for the engine there, I started cleaning out the tank, and it was pretty crusty in the bottom of it, and I got it pretty much cleaned out, and then I realized that there's a pinhole in the bottom of it. So I could put some sealant in that, get that sealed up, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a tank for it, because it's already, you know, that tank is, if it's got one pinhole, it's probably bound to start rusting through the rest of it. So I think I'll just make a tank for it. Let me go get some cables. We're going to see if this thing will weld first. Put a little more fuel in it, and then once I see if it welds and all that, then we're going to get this thing picked up and get it cleaned up a little bit outside, pressure wash it, and then we'll decide what we're gonna do with this thing. So it's kind of wanting to make a spark, but our armature is pretty dirty over here, so we're going to use this here Profax stone, and we're going to clean up the armature and see if that helps. All right, I figured it out why it wasn't working. This here, one of these over here, I think it was this one, had come off. I'm not sure if I did that or what, but yeah, it welds. So I'm also kind of wondering now, I don't know if it's more prevalent now or if I just didn't notice it before, but it kind of sounds like we got a knock. It might be an injector knock, but I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing outside, get it cleaned up, pressure washed. I got the fuel lines blocked off, got the exhaust capped off, so we're not gonna get anything inside. I'm gonna clean up the mess I made, and then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna change the oil anyway, so I think I'll just pull the pan, and then we can inspect up in there and see if there's noticeably some damage to it, and we'll go from there. So let's get this thing cleaned up. So I'm draining the oil now, and I don't know if you can tell, but there's something weird going on. We got some like discoloration in the oil. I don't see any. There might be some glitter in there, but there's something weird going on, so we might have a problem. But gonna take the pan off now. See. All right, well, this is not good news. When I pulled the dipstick on the oil a couple times, it didn't look too bad, but there's all kinds of sludge here on the bottom. It's like thin grease. So I'm assuming it got mixed with water, something. I don't know, but that's the first sign. Well, I should have drained the oil first to see about that. Shouldn't have trusted it. But also, this here was stuck up on the bottom of the block, and if you can tell, it was another layer. I don't know how it was sealing, but that was stuck right there. It fits in just like that. So somebody's been in here before, but I'm gonna have the missus come out here in a second and help me roll it over a few times, so if I can see anywhere where it's would be a knock or something like that. So hang tight. All right, so yeah, we definitely got some problems here. I don't know if you can tell, the camera might be, or the light might be too bright, but we got some discoloration on that crank, and also up top. I think there's not a lot of oil up top. Go ahead and rotate it a little bit. Other way. I don't know if you can see, if you saw that other way, but we definitely got some. Keep going, keep going. All right, come back the other way. There's a lot of play in those bearings right there. So yeah, we definitely got some rod knock. So I guess we'll be doing a little more work to this than I thought. But hopefully, I don't know if it was because of this here and it just started, or if it had some already. I guess when I go to edit this video, I might realize it a little bit, but anyhow, we got some problems to address. So I guess let's pull the head off. Well, I hate to leave you hanging here, but we're gonna end this video here because we got some other stuff to do, and I don't have time to mess with pulling this apart right now and seeing what we can do to fix it. So this will be a series upcoming here, but at least we know it welds. And I don't know, at this point we might as well go ahead and chop it and make it new again, since we're going to be probably have to pull this whole thing apart anyway to get the crank out of it, because I'm not sure how the crank is, but there's no rod mains. It's either pushed in from the front or the back, so this whole thing's probably got to come apart anyway. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.